Ready to get going?
I am. I'm ready to get going. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. Welcome to another Becoming a Powerhouse Coach workshop. Today, we're talking about community over competition, 5 ways to build your tribe. We are excited that you are here and we can't wait to dive in. I'm Adrienne Kashparenko, and I am a financial coach. I help professionals wanting to live a lifestyle of no debt find the right strategy to stay debt free for a lifetime, not just the meantime.
And I'm Sarah Hurst. I'm a financial coach, and I help people who want their budget to be on autopilot address mindsets so they can ditch their money stress for good. We've got fellow powerhouse coach Christine Seal helping us out in the chat box today. So if you've got questions or comments, please drop them in there for a Q&A later on.
Before we dive in today, by show of hands, I want to see who here has ever felt like they're on an island doing this coaching business, entrepreneur thing all by themselves. Yeah, okay. Who here has been skeptical or overly cautious when another coach reaches out to connect with you? Okay, it's always good to know we're not alone, right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sarah and I have learned so much while researching for this workshop. Some of the 5 techniques we're sharing today were gathered and inspired by people we admire, and some of them we've created and implemented ourselves. You don't have to do them all to get results. So this is a take what works for you and leave what doesn't workshop.
We're honored and humbled to be presenting this to you today because Adrienne and I have had a lot of growth in this area over the last couple of years. So, in true coach fashion, we'll start with the problem we're trying to solve by explaining why building a community of coaches over considering other coaches as competition is a healthy way to keep your business moving forward. Then, we're going to give you 5 practical ways you can grow your peer tribe.
You know, I remember when I started coaching, I had joined a couple of online coaching communities, and I was really hesitant to chime in or ask a question. And when I did meet with another coach, I kept wondering what they might want from me, like what it was going to cost me. There were a few coaches that pitched coaching to me. Some guarded themselves, and others had different agendas. But most of them wanted to learn just as much as I did.
I feel that though, Adrienne. Those icky interactions put you on edge a bit, don't they?
Mhm.
Something I did when I was new was I kept my lead sources in the markets I was in pretty close to the vest because I didn't want other coaches to swoop into my space and oversaturate the area. As a new coach with very little experience, I thought my ideas were pretty great and needed protecting. Silly, right? It was a scarcity mindset for sure.
Your ideas are pretty great, Sarah. But what did you find to be the truth?
Well, I did realize I was a bit wrong, big surprise, but I saw that I was isolating myself, and who needs that on this self employed journey? It's already hard starting something new by yourself because you're questioning every decision, overanalyzing, I'm a pro at that, and then filtering through all the options out there on your own. I definitely felt overwhelmed by it all back then until I remembered something. There's an African proverb that has been near and dear to my heart since I was 12 years old. It forced me to take a good look at what that me versus them attitude was getting me when I looked at it through the lens of being a business owner. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Light bulb. If I wanted to go far in coaching, I need to see other coaches as my community, not my competition. Essential, not optional.
Essential, not optional. I think that's worth writing down. Similar experience. I found that if I went into a coach to coach meetup with the intention of learning something and offering something, that took the pressure off the conversation. I wanted to give the overall feeling of take what works and leave what doesn't.
You're right. It does take the pressure off.
Mhm.
And just seeing them as a person made a big difference to me. I had to get outside of the box toward them for all you Arbinger Institute fans out there. Also, I'm not obligated to implement another coach's method exactly like them just because they inspired something. I get to examine it and decide what parts make the most sense for my business and personal style.
Mm, exactly. But let's be real here. It can be uncomfortable giving away something that is working well for us because that means it could work well for someone else too. But hear me, there is no way another coach could duplicate you. Even if you give them all of your created content, all of your processes, and all of the business tools you use, they will not show up like you do. Every single coach is different and brings their uniqueness to their business. If Coach Alex takes one idea from me and merges it with their own ideas and maybe a couple of other coaches' ideas, then Coach Alex has their very own intentionally curated coaching practice.
You got it, Adrian. And their business is stronger as a result, not just because of the pieces that were added, tweaked, or improved upon, but because they're establishing their coaching tribe. When you're gracious, not just taking, but giving as well, you're building a relationship, and that coach may end up sending good things your way. One coach sent me a Sephora gift card as a thank you for some agreement language I shared.
Hmm.
Others have sent me leads. All have said thank you. Hello, perks. However, engaging with other coaches isn't just about idea collaboration with colleagues. It's about building a circle of support, community, and trust because we're more than just our businesses. When I found coaches who proved they cared about this work as much as I do, it was easy to trust them as more than colleagues. It was finding those who I want to go far with, who I want to go together with.
Right. There have been times when, for whatever reason, I wanted to quit this business. I have found a tribe of coaches that I trust to help me see the truth that I can't see when my brain is in fight, flight, or freeze mode. Those are the coaches who I know will not judge me for my moment, but they'll give me a hand out of the pit I've found myself in. Establishing a coach to coach relationship like this helps us to serve our clients in the same manner.
You've been that hand for me before, Adrian, time and time again. And I'm so grateful.
Ditto, countless times on your side too. Okay, quick question for everyone here. Who here has thought about quitting? Raise your hand. Okay, I bet, Sarah, double-handed. I bet there was someone that helped you redirect your thoughts. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here today. You're already going together with them.
So let's talk about this journey you and I have been on, Adrian. First, we saw each other as competition,
Mhm.
then colleagues, friends, and now even chosen family. That's certainly been our story over the last 3-ish years, right?
Right.
Lots of Zoom meetings, some including wine, Marco Polo videos, messages, and texts and phone calls, oh my, plus a few glorious in person events, which included more wine. And in fact, it was the most recent in real life gathering that bore powerhouse coaches.
Yeah. Being together in the flesh is always amazing. The stories, the late nights. Okay, the wine. I can't imagine my life without you now. And even if for some wild reason we both left coaching, which don't worry, neither one of us have that in the plan this week, I'm going to love you for life.
I love you too. Forever. But even if you aren't looking for friends in the business, it's still so valuable to have coaching peers in your dream team. So, Adrian, how do coaches who see an opportunity to get more serious about building their tribe go about it?
Well, first, you don't have to consider yourself a great coach to reach out and create a tribe. But spoiler alert, you are a great coach. You don't have to be the authority on any subject. You just have to start. So we've put together a simple, actionable, non-life threatening list of 5 ways to build your coaching tribe and go far and go together. Let's get to it. Number one, ask for help or offer help in social media coaching groups. Asking can be something you want to learn about, not necessarily an emergent need that you or your client is facing right in this very moment. Offering can be responding to a post or posting something relatable.
Can you tell us what that looks like for you, Adrian?
Yeah. So I like to post about my aha moments. You know, those times where coaches have been pouring into me and they've been giving me ideas. And then all of a sudden it hits me like, oh, that's what they're talking about. I post about those just in case anyone else can relate. Or I like to try to tell how I'm growing, but I always try to end the post with a question to encourage interaction.
I mean, that sounds easy enough. So, do you meet any cool coaches that way?
Absolutely. I've met a ton of cool coaches. I've had inbox messages, response on the post, people asking for my Calendly link so that we can talk about that particular subject. I just met with a new coach a couple days ago.
That's so cool. I love that you do it and that it leads to more connections.
Mhm.
I've done the same, but I know I could be more consistent in the field of social media for sure. But it actually points to our next way to build your tribe. Go to where the coaches are. Join or host a book club. Invite coaches in your area to a monthly meeting of the minds or lunch. I just did that 2 days ago with my fellow Spokane coaches. You could attend a national coaches training, things like that. Yep, there we are.
Then go
Save
back.
gas
There
money
you go.
and invite coaches to meet online to exchange ideas, offer support, and just get to know one another. Since it's been nice out, I like to take these calls from my backyard so I can get out of my home office for a bit, which means if you're on that call with me, you're likely going to get an action shot of my puppy.
Oh, that puppy.
Mm,
This is where it gets fun. It creates space for something more than an agenda driven conversation. Yes, that may be part of what you're doing, but you're also learning about the coach, who they are as a person.
totally. And then people who feel known are more likely to share what they know. It creates this validation, which is a key piece to finding your tribe, who you can go far with. And you're learning whose voices you can relate to and trust.
Which brings us to number three, set up accountability. After you've decided whose voice matters, it's time to join or set up accountability. I have personally been a part of a Monday morning office hours group where we just email each other the night before we're getting together, all the things we want to get done in those 2 hours we're going to spend together. We jump on a Zoom call the next morning and we just get stuff done with mute. We're all muted. We get stuff done like we're in an office together.
In an office, but without the risk of that burnt popcorn smell or passive
Yeah,
aggressive notes about cleaning out the team fridge. Am I right?
absolutely right.
Some other ideas are reciprocal peer coaching, which Adrian and I have been doing for years,
Mhm.
a dedicated hour to shut up and make your calls, a standing meeting for coffee and conversation. I mean, really, the possibilities are endless with a little creativity.
You can even challenge another coach to see how many connections they can make in a week. At the end of the week, whoever gets the most connections gets treated to a coffee from the losing coach.
Yeah, coffee. You know, that will get me motivated. And
Mhm.
if I don't win that challenge, you better ask me what's going on. Like, really, truly going on. And keep digging, even if I initially brush it off.
You're in the coffee.
Mm. This actually leads us to number 4, be vulnerable. While it's really easy to share what you do well, it can be hard to put yourself out there and admit what you need help with because it's not fun to expose yourself like that. I want to assure you, though, that everyone has something that can be improved.
This was hard for me. I was so worried that these experienced coaches would just look at me and be like, hey, this new coach, they're so annoying. They always ask the same questions. But it never really turned out that way. I knew that if I could put my roadblock out there, then take the guidance that worked for me and grow from it, I started gaining respect from those who spoke into me.
Those who spoke into you. That reminds me of the first time I got fired by a client. Their feedback stung pretty bad, but I was at a loss as to how to handle some of the finer points of them breaking their agreement. So I went to an online coaching group for help. And in classic Sarah fashion, I posted it with a gif of a girl dramatically crying while eating ice cream to help convey that inner turmoil I was feeling and also to try to make light of it all. Kept trying to tell my brain that. But the responses and the support I received were so amazing. I knew that I wasn't alone and that others who had walked the path before could help me navigate it better than if I tried to go alone. They
Mm.
helped me process it and held space so I could respond to the former client rather than react. I chose going together, and I'm so glad I did.
Sarah, we have some evidence of that post that you put out there.
Oh, I shouldn't have let you do that.
And I mean, hey, look at the how many comments that were on that post. 100 comments. And we know some of those are your responses, but that's a pretty good interaction.
Yep, yep. I found it was convenient that it landed at 100 because I put a bookend on that kind of event in my life, and I turned off the comments because I didn't need to keep going back and reading new ideas because I had already found my conclusion. So if you didn't know that you can turn off comments on Facebook, you can when you're the original poster. So
Very good. Well, Sarah, thanks for being vulnerable. Getting fired does sting. And let me tell you something, coaches. If you haven't been fired yet, you will someday. It's nice to have someone to help you walk through that. Okay, number 5, give it time. Reaching out to other coaches. The reality is that we can learn something from every single coach, new or experienced. We all have something to give through our strengths, and together we can not only create a thriving business, but change lives through our coaching as well.
yes, I am so glad that you mentioned new coaches. They're incredibly fun to talk with. Their excitement is contagious. They're
Yep.
asking so many great questions about how to get their business rolling. And it's not uncommon that they're onto some new tool or avenue that I haven't seen or thought of. And it ends up being something I can't not check out for my own business.
Yeah, they are really fun to spend time with. I've gotten some really great ideas and things I've needed to explore lately too. I also think of coaches who have been doing this longer than me, who continue to share their wisdom, hacks, and support. Some of them I've even hired to coach me. Their ongoing investment in us going together has made all the difference in the world.
Agreed. And while you're giving it time, it's important to remember that this isn't a one and done sort of task.
Right.
It's going to take meeting some coaches you may not vibe with, and that's okay. It's part of the refining process to find those who will become a part of your inner circle, those with whom you'll go far. Adrian, I want to give a bonus.
Of course you do. You're so generous. Let's do it.
All right, here goes. Think outside the coaching box. Find other coaches who are in the same season of life as you or who have common interests. Think like kids, pets, hobbies like cooking or rooting for the same sports team, collecting heart shaped rocks, TV shows, pretty much anything that can make someone else want to say, hey, me too. In fact, let's make some of those connections outside of coaching right now. Put in the chat box 1 to 2 things you enjoy spending time on, or maybe something you nerd out about. Adrian and I will post 2 of ours.
Golf,
We got hiking,
beach.
we got reading, beach, golf, naps, reading, naps, yes. Feel that in my heart. More reading, yes. Bluebirds at feeding their babies. Oh, and some tea. Those are some good ones. See, you
Tinkering.
might be making a mental note right now about reaching out to a coach because you both love tinkering and being outdoors.
That's right. Okay, another question for you guys, really quick. What's something you do well in your business that you can share with another coach? I promise you, you do something well, even if it's a God given gift you haven't quite put together with your business yet. If you want, you can open up your mic for this one and share, or you can just put it in the chat box if you've got other things going on today. Ooh, detailed organization. Solve IRS problems. Yes, Christine, we love that about you. Ooh, nerd with Excel spreadsheets.
Those are some good ones. Caring and giving extra time, empathy, giving options.
Oh, look, connection. I love Excel.
Yay!
That's awesome.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, it's time for our Q&A. Christine, were there any questions in the chat that we can address?
Yeah, there was a couple on question and a comment. Daria said her hesitation with interacting with other coaches is that she doesn't feel like she has much to offer them. And she wanted you to speak into that feeling.
Been there.
Yeah, totally.
When my ego wasn't inflated.
Let's see. Honestly, there is something, Daria, that you have to offer, and you may be compartmentalizing it outside of your business. So if you think about the gifts, your God-given gifts that you have, your organization, maybe you're an organized person, maybe you bring an empathy level that you can connect with, like you're good at connection. Think about how it is that you do that, and find a condensed way to be able to tell somebody, hey, just take these couple little steps, and that's a good starting point for anybody, right? It's going to look different on how they refine it for themselves, but if you can give someone a good starting point for anything, that's what I would encourage you to do. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, and just kind of that expectation of just getting to know one another, because from that, you'll start to feel more comfortable sharing what you do know. And maybe there'll be that thing that you're like, oh, I can actually speak into that part of what's going on in your coaching practice. So don't sell yourself short. Just go with the expectation of getting to know one another.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Lori made a comment, and I would love for you to expand on this. You were talking about, building a tribe. And her comment is that she has some tribe people, but she doesn't have a regular setup. So what might be some things that Lori could do for a regular setup?
My local area coaches, we meet on Zoom once a month. We chose the second Thursday at 12:30 local time. And so we're all just on Zoom that way. And then we can connect with each other, through Messenger and on social media outside of that time. So that's been working for us. And then we do quarterly lunches like we did this week.
Mm-hmm. I would also suggest if you desire this, that you pick a time that works for you and invite people in. Don't wait to see when everybody is available to get together. Just put it on your calendar and then just keep inviting people until you have what you feel like is enough.
Yeah. And waiting for everyone to pipe in about their time zone and availability.
Right.
Oh, it can get tricky.
And then really connecting. So I know that I can kind of see somebody that, oh, I admire that person for whatever reason it is. I admire that person. Really making sure that I'm like, hey, I want to be intentional about learning from you. Can we talk?
So here's a little follow on. And Herbie, I don't know if you're like tuning into Germany right now. He's in the military and stationed in Germany. Oh, yeah. So I don't even know what day I guess it's still Saturday there. Anyway, so that's a little bit more challenging for him to develop that tribe. And Amy had said, go virtual in terms of developing that. But do you have any thoughts or comments on that? Either, Sarah or Adrian, about he's over in Germany. He's got time zone issues, maybe.
Yes. Well, so in my group message with Powerhouse Coaches, I'm on the West Coast, and so my East Coast cronies are on. It says that they're on at like 3:30 sometimes. You know who I'm looking at, and so the time zone issue becomes it can be a delay to meet live,
Mhm.
or something to navigate. But you can always have that like ongoing conversation going on social media and that connection. And then sometimes I've met late with my friends, and then other times I've met super early, like 6:30. Adrienne and I meet on every other Monday for a lesson that we're doing together. That's early for me, you guys.
Yeah.
Very early, but it's
Yeah.
not for her.
But
So
we've also found that, I mean, once you establish a relationship, we've also found that like Marco Polo works really well. I'm on East Coast, Sarah's on West Coast. So if I'm up early, I can just send her a quick Marco Polo video of, hey, this is what I'm thinking, get back to me when you can type thing. So maybe if you can find resources like that, that'll help you with that, get back to me when you can, that's group messaging or WhatsApp or something to that effect might help as well.
definitely. And you find a certain level of sacrifice too. When it's important to you, you make time for it. So
Yeah. Anything else you guys can think of?
Lots of people just chiming in about, oh yeah, been there, done that. So
Yeah, I will go back to knowing yourself and bringing that into a conversation, especially if you're a new coach. I'll never forget the time I had been a coach for maybe 6 months, and I was walking out my front door to go meet a potential client, and I looked at my husband and I said, I am going to go be bold today. And he said, whoa, 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 wait up. When have you ever not been bold? And it really made me think, I have not been bringing my boldness into my business. Like, this is who I am, and I have not been bringing that in. So, really take an inventory of who you are known to be and try to bring that into your business.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap up here because it's Saturday. I know you guys have stuff to do, but Adrian and I, yeah, we want to. If there's questions, we'll pull them out of the chat later and see if we can connect with you outside of our workshop. But Adrian and I want to thank you all for joining us today to talk about community over competition, 5 ways to build your tribe. Okay, well, 6 ways. It's been a pleasure spending a part of your Saturday with you, but the fun doesn't end here.
That's right. Our next workshop is Help, I'm an Entrepreneur with Powerhouse Coach Courtney Cave on Saturday, August 20th at 9 a.m. Pacific, which is our last workshop before our Becoming a Powerhouse Coach virtual conference.
You can register for the workshop by visiting becomingapowerhousecoach.com/free-workshops. And if you missed any of our past workshops, you can find them there too. Christine is dropping a link in the chat box right now.
We have a lot more to share with you and would love to have you join us for our Becoming a Powerhouse Coach virtual conference in September on the 17th. Tickets are on sale now, and if you missed our early bird pricing, don't fret. When you buy a general admission ticket before September 1st, you'll be entered into a drawing for a free upgrade to VIP, or just buy the VIP and guarantee it. Check out the website for events and details, and Christine will drop that link into the chat box as well. And grab it quick because we're about to end.
And FYI, Adrian's in charge of the VIP swag box, so it's going to be super great.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, Christine, for running the chat box.
Thank
We hope you
you.
guys all have a great Saturday. We'll see you soon.